All right, good afternoon, everyone, or good morning. Today, we will be talking, in this video, we will be talking about writing instructions, procedures, and safety protocols. Now, I've decided na iusan ni sila because these are somewhat similar and ilang structure very similar as well. So, uh, before we get to learn how to write this, let's first define what these are. Because sometimes these three documents are interchangeable. But in technical writing, they serve different purposes. Now, communicative instructions, they tell you how to perform a specific task from start to finish. So think about a recipe, or let's say, for example, how to post a discussion forum in Blackboard. So, kasi instructions are linear, magsunod-sunod yun na sila. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and then so on and so forth. Now, procedures explain how to run a system or policy that may repeat. So, for example, the procedure for a fire drill at school. So, who does what, when, and what in order. Now, procedures often have branches or roles. Now, kung yung taog safety protocol, these are special urgent subsets. So, mas urgent na sila ng mga listahan. No? Their sole goal is to prevent injury or damage. For example, chemical spill protocol in a laboratory for, kung namo na-assign sa lab, or what to do during a lockdown. So, these documents assume that the user may be stressed and scared. So, they need to be extremely clear. Now, pause for a second and think of one example from each in your own life. Maybe nagsunod mo og recipe, maybe from TikTok, or maybe you followed uh, or you read a school evacuation map, or the steps how to print a document in your printer or whatever. So I hope that you have thought of some of these things, an example of some of these things in your life. Now, what does a well-written instruction or protocol actually look like on the page or a screen? First, there is hierarchy. So you need to see a clear title, then maybe naay gamay nga introduction or short purpose statement, and then warnings, and then if needed, if warnings if needed, yun steps, then a conclusion. Nothing is hidden. Now, second is white space. So, no dense paragraphs, dili nga daghan kay paragraph ang inyong instruction or inyong protocol. Now, if I open a manual and I see a solid wall of text, then I'm already lost. White space gives the eye a rest and separates ideas. The third one is typography or typography. Now, sans serif fonts, makita niyo, I think I've mentioned it in our previous video. Kanang sans serif fonts, kanang bitaw, maklaro gyud mo nga separated ang per letter, dili nga murag seg mo musumpay. Now, sans serif fonts, for example, Arial or Calibre, you can use this for the body text. Now, bold or color for warnings, but never rely on color alone. Now, we'll talk about this one later. Next is call out boxes. So, kana mga danger, warning, or caution should be inside a box with a border, often red or yellow nga box. That visual cue makes your brain stop and pay attention. And finally, we have visuals, diagrams, icons, photos with arrows. But a bad visual can be worse than none. So the best visuals are annotated na ay mo yun nga press here with an arrow, not just a blurry picture or some random picture na inyong nakitaan sa Google. Visually strong, yes, but words matter just as much. Now, good technical writing uses three main text strategies. The first one is to have an imperative mood. So start every action step with a strong verb. For example, press start. Dili ka mingon ka, the user should press start. Mingon mo nga, mix solution. Not, you will need to mix the solution. So direct commands are faster to read and process. Now, the second one is you need to have a parallel structure. Now, if step 1 says plug in the cord, step 2 should say press the button. Not you are now pressing the button, or you should press the button. So keep the grammar pattern consistent, and you have learned this one, parallel structure in our previous class. Next is chunking. Group-related steps under subheadings. So for example, uh, magamit ni siya ang kaning chunking kung daghan kaayo mo og steps. So might as well i-group ninyo ang mga steps into different phases like setup phase or calibration phase or execution phase. Now, through this, the user does not get lost in a 20-step list. Now, a good document also has negative clarity. Now, unsa may pasabot aning negative clarity? It tells you what not to do. So for example, mingon mo, do not use near water or never leave the machine unattended. So this is what we call negative statements, which provides us with negative clarity. And negative clarity is still clarity. Now let's do a quick mental activity. I have here two versions of the same instruction. Now pause this video and then ask yourself which one is easier to follow. Obviously, it is the second one. Why? Because it's numbered, naka-numbered na siya. The verbs are direct. There are no extra words, and each step is a single action. Keep that contrast in mind as we go. Alright? So again, it's numbered, verbs are direct, there are no extra words, and each step is a single action. Now, ang instructions or instruction document has several parts. So we see there a title, then a graphic to represent a topic, and then a introduction or purpose statement, and then the tools needed for the instruction, and then the numbered steps, and then remember to always begin with a verb. And then we have cautions, so do not, okay, so na negative clarity there, and then conclusion. Now let's look at the 5-trait rubric when we apply it to instructions, procedures, and safety protocol. Not safety procedure, but safety protocol. Number 1, clarity. This means zero ambiguity. Now, a sentence should have only one possible interpretation. So avoid vague adjectives such as big, small, warm, and a while. Instead, use concrete nouns and specific numbers. For example, wait for wait for a bit for the solution to get warm. Again, a question na to ani, how warm? How long will we have to wait? Oh, so good example here tells us heat the solution for 75 degrees Celsius for 30 seconds. So make sure that of course uh, how would you explain this one to a fifth grader versus a college lab assistant? Now if your answer changes, then your document may need two versions. But in a single document, aim for the clearest possible language yun for the least experienced user. Ayaw mo pag-assume na kabalo na yun ang tanan sa na inyong ibutang sa inyong instructions. Number 2, conciseness. It's very hard for English majors kaning conciseness because we love to create beautiful, elaborate sentences. Ganahan kita gamit og mga highfalutin words, mga taas kayo ng mga words. But in technical writing, every extra word is a distraction. You want the minimum words for maximum meaning. Now, let me give you a quick editing drill. Now, of course, we have here when we edit phrases like in the event that, pwede rin nato siyang mailisan o if. Kung yung nga at this point in time, pwede rin nato siyang mailisan og now. It is important to note that you must click. You can remove all of those unnecessary words and then pwede rin mo musulti na click. And that's it. Dili mo maingon nga dili mo maingon nga thank you for reading or please be advised. Get to the point right away. Respect your user's time and their cognitive load. Kaya ba sa ilang brain nga mabasa pa yung additional words nga di man di maka-help nila. Number next, is the accessible document design. Design isn't just about looking pretty, it's about accessibility. Now, for print documents, kung inyo i-print ang inyong document, use high contrast, black text on white background, and at least 12 point na font. Now, if you're going for screens, hyperlink should describe their destination. Don't just write, click here, and you need to write, go to the safety data sheet. So this helps screen readers and builds trust. And here is a critical point for inclusive teaching or inclusive design for your students. Never solely rely on color. Don't say press the green button. Kay kumingon nga press the green button mo ana na kay reader nga colorblind unsa man nila pagkabalo asay green button ana. So might as well say press the green start button. Okay? The extra word makes the document usable for everyone. Okay? So be careful to be sensitive in your document design. Next, audience recognition. This means that you anticipate what the user knows, needs, and fears. Now, if you're going to have a lay reader, then you need, of course, ginabalik-balik na nato, you need to have definitions, context, and generous warnings. So, go slow. Okay? Now, if high-tech readers, they would want speed, keyboard shortcuts, and a troubleshooting section. Now, safety protocols are a special case. So, for example, kung naay linog, naay sunog, or naay chemical spill in a laboratory, you need to assume that the user is panicked. Their heart is racing. And sometimes, the only thing that they can do is just to skim through the document. That's when you use all caps or red text for absolute emergencies. Not for everyday instructions, but for real danger. Again, use all caps or red text only for emergencies. So remember, just as you are differentiating reading instruction for different students, you differentiate, ilahi nimo ang mga technical documents for different reading levels and stress levels sa imuhang mga readers. The final trait is accuracy. In technical writing, trust is a currency. Now, if a user follows step 3 and it does not work, then they may never trust your document again. So what does accuracy require? First is the logical order. So kinahanglan kana imong step 3, it should follow step 2 flawlessly without any hidden leap na. Uy, di kalit lagi siya uwingon ani, di ba? Ang instructions maura man ni. Oh. So dapat seamless sa gyud ang instructions. Next is consistent terminology. So kung moingon mong in one page a component A, in page 1, don't call it piece A in page 2. So dapat kung unsa inyong tawag sa page 1, mo pud yung tawag sa page 2. So for example, if you're referring to the document as component A, then component A pud ang inyong ibutang in the next following paragraphs. Next is to test it. Best technical writers watch a real user try the instructions before publishing. And you'd be amazed how many obvious errors you miss when you wrote the steps yourself. And remember, in safety protocols, inaccuracy isn't just annoying, it can mean injury, lawsuit, kasuhan mo, or worse. Accuracy is an ethical obligation for everyone. So once again, instructions are for specific tasks, procedures are for systems and policies, and safety protocols are for preventing harm. And the 5 traits that we have discussed earlier are not just rules for you to get good grades for your IMAs, but they are ethical obligations as well. When you write a safety protocol for a school lab, a person's well-being may depend on your choice of words. And when you write instructions for a classroom activity, a student's success depends on your design. And that is the art of clarity, making making the complex simple, the urgent visible, and the user safe. Right? Thank you everyone for joining us in our class today, and I hope that you've learned something new in this session.